Family lineage in the NFL is a lot more common than you think. There have been some famous brother duos and famous cousin duos, but arguably nothing is more valuable to a family than a father-son duo who both step foot on an NFL field. But when you think of legendary father-son duos, who do you think is better most of the time? Is the father the better of the bunch? Or is the son trained so well that he becomes better than his pops? That's what we're here to discuss. In this video, we'll be going over a handful of the best father-son duos in NFL history and comparing their careers to see who is truly the better generation. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a video like this one. First off, we're going to compare arguably the greatest brother duo of all time in Peyton and Eli Manning to their father, Archie Manning. We all know how good Peyton Manning is. Peyton, if it weren't for that former Patriot, would be the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football. He won 5 MVPs, which is the most in NFL history. He won 2 championships with 2 different teams, made 14 Pro Bowls, 10 All-Pro teams, and set record after record. There's a reason they call him the Sheriff. However, his brother could potentially be a Hall of Famer in the future as well. Eli Manning is a legend in the NFL, and there's no denying that. He was never among the elite quarterbacks like his brother or Brady or Rodgers, but he did lead his New York Giants to 2 very unlikely Super Bowl wins, including one against the undefeated 2007 New England Patriots. Actually, he beat Brady twice. Eli is a 4-time Pro Bowler and the greatest quarterback in Giants history. The Manning brothers are easily the most successful brother duo in NFL history and potentially in all of sports history as well. But what about their father? Archie Manning was a 13-year quarterback who spent almost his entire career with the New Orleans Saints. Now, he was definitely no Peyton or Eli, but Archie was a 2-time Pro Bowler himself with the Saints. He also had one thing that neither of his sons had as pros: the ability to escape the pocket at an elite level. Archie rushed for 2,197 yards and 18 touchdowns in his lengthy career. For a quarterback in the 70s, these numbers were impressive. Archie had a bit of a turnover issue in his prime, but hey, so did Peyton at the start of his career. Archie is still recognized as a good all-time quarterback despite being the 3rd best quarterback in his family. Next up, we'll be comparing a pair of elite edge rushers to their father as we look at the Bosa Mafia. Older brother Joey and little brother Nick Bosa are 2 of the most decorated defensive players of the late 2010s era. Both would play college football as Ohio State Buckeyes, and both would be top 3 picks in their respective drafts, with Joey being taken 3rd in 2016 by the Chargers and Nick being taken 2nd in 2019 by the 49ers. However, one has been slightly better than the other in the NFL. Despite Joey Bosa winning Defensive Rookie of the Year and making 4 Pro Bowls, little brother is arguably the best edge rusher in all of football. Nick, too, would win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he would continue to take the league by storm, winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2022 with the league-leading 18.5 sacks. He's arguably the most important player on the 49ers besides Brock Purdy. Meanwhile, Joey Bosa's future in LA is up in the air. He's still a good player, but he hasn't lived up to the massive contract the Chargers gave him. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to compare these 2 game changers to their father, John Bosa. John Bosa was a 3-year pro for the Miami Dolphins who, like his sons, rushed the passer. However, John would only record 7 total sacks in his career, much less than what his sons are capable of. Yet another point to the younger generation, but that was a given with this one. Look at those 2 freaks. They're very, very good. Next up, we have a very new NFL player and his Hall of Fame father, arguably the greatest wide receiver prospect of all time, Marvin Harrison Jr., and his father, you guessed it, Marvin Harrison Sr. Marv Jr., a top 5 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, is one of the best receivers college football has ever seen. His size, speed, and ability to bring in literally any ball that's even close to him make him a purely special talent. In his 2 seasons as a starter for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Harrison Jr. would record over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns in each season. That's absolutely absurd. Now, he doesn't have the NFL experience that his father had yet, but it will be difficult to fill his father's shoes. Marvin Harrison is arguably a top 5 wide receiver in football history. Peyton Manning's wide receiver one for the majority of his career was the most consistent receiver in the world in his time. From 1999 to 2006, Marvin Harrison made an All-Pro team in every season. even leading the NFL in receiving yards twice in 1999 and 2002, and leading the NFL in receiving touchdowns in 2005. He was also able to stay on the field better than anybody else, playing at least 15 games in every one of those seasons. Prime Marvin Harrison was absolutely untouchable. He's one of the greatest route runners ever and has some of the best hands ever, meaning that his lack of elite speed didn't cost him any one-on-one matchups. If Marv Jr. can be anything like his dad at the pro level, we're in for a treat, but right now, point goes to Pops. Next up, we have a family of big boys as we compare brothers Chris and Kyle Long to their pops Howie Long. Chris and Kyle are the first brothers we mentioned who not only played different positions, but completely different sides of the field, as Chris was a defensive end and Kyle was an offensive guard. Chris was nothing but a consistent starting DM, playing the majority of his career with the St. Louis Rams before winning 2 championships late in his career with the Patriots and the Eagles. Meanwhile, Kyle was a career Chicago Bear, and even making an all-pro team in his time. He was the centerpiece of the Bears' offensive line for his entire career and was a very solid player. However, their dad, Howie, is an absolute legend. The Pro Football Hall of Famer is a 3-time All-Pro and was even the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year in 1985, an award ultimately won by fellow Hall of Famer Mike Singletary. After his elite career with the Raiders and fathering 2 NFL stars, Howie took on a television role with the NFL on Fox. Point to dad. Sorry, boys. Here's a big one. We all know how good San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is. He's set records, he's done things only a few have ever done before, and he even won NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2023. The guy is truly a generational talent. However, did you know his father was in the NFL as well? Ed McCaffrey was a wide receiver who spent most of his 13-year NFL career with the Denver Broncos. Just like his son, Ed was a 1,000-yard receiver, with Ed reaching that feat 3 straight seasons from 1998 to 2000, including a second-team All-Pro appearance in 1998, an All-Pro father-son duo. Isn't that awesome? However, did you know there's another McCaffrey entering the NFL? Christian's little brother Luke, who's a receiver just like his daddy, is part of the 2024 NFL Draft. Luke actually started off by playing quarterback for the Nebraska Cornhuskers before ending up transitioning to wide receiver with the Rice Owls. He actually tested better at the combine than his brother and his dad. So who knows what Luke can be in the NFL? Regardless, point to the Suns simply because Christian exists. Last but not least, we have Patrick Surtain II, and of course, his father, Patrick Surtain Sr. Little Pat has been arguably the best cornerback in the NFL since he was drafted. The guy is an absolute freak. He's single-handedly carried the Denver Broncos secondary and even made first-team All-Pro in just his second season. However, he's not the only All-Pro cornerback in his family. Surtain Sr. played 11 seasons in the NFL, 7 of which with the Miami Dolphins. 2 of these seasons saw him make All-Pro, including a first-team All-Pro appearance in 2002. He was an absolute ball hawk, intercepting a whopping 15 passes over 2 seasons in 2002 and 2003, and finishing his career with 37 career picks. Surtain Sr. was one of the best corners in the world during his time, but never really got the recognition for it. He continues to be historically underrated to this day. This father-son duo is simply one of the greatest of all time, and Surtain II is only 3 seasons in. There's a very high possibility that Surtain II has a better career than his pops, but as of right now, the point has to go to the old man. But the kid has made it very close in only 3 seasons. That's it. We've looked at over 6 different NFL families, some all retired and some just getting started. And out of the 6 father-son combos we compared, it was a tie. We gave 3 points to the old guys, 3 points to the kids. Did we get any wrong? How would you compare these families? And is there any other father-son duos that we missed? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching The Halftime Show.